Odd times call for unconventional wisdom. If the obvious were always true, Hillary Clinton would have won in 2008 and 2016. In his 1958 book, The Affluent Society, economist John Kenneth Galbraith assailed what he called conventional wisdom, his caustic term for beliefs that are at any time assiduously, solemnly, and mindlessly traded between the conventionally wise. Today, we're constantly bombarded by news of the latest high jinks of candidates and officeholders, and for each new political drama there's new conventional wisdom on what it means. But what if much of it is wrong? Conventional wisdom on the debt ceiling fight says that Speaker Kevin McCarthy and House Republicans are on the defensive, while Democrats belittle their attempt to get President Joe Biden to negotiate with the GOP. Maybe. But would voters really prefer that Mr. McCarthy bow to Democratic demands and simply raise the debt ceiling? Or would they rather take the Speaker's proposal to pair that with cuts in non-defense discretionary spending, the recovery of unspent COVID relief money, and a requirement that able-bodied people receiving welfare either work or look for work? Still suffering from the inflation caused by excessive spending, voters might conclude some deficit reduction is better than none. Conventional wisdom also says that Donald Trump's legal problems have strengthened him politically. In the short run, that appears right. The charges brought against Mr. Trump by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg were criticized by legal experts on the right and left as convoluted, shaky, unsupported, and likely to fail. But what if Special Counsel Jack Smith obtains an indictment of Mr. Trump for either or both of the federal cases he's investigating, and they are far stronger than Mr. Bragg's? A significant number of Trump supporters may conclude that they've had it. It's conventional wisdom among many Democrats and journalists that Mr. Biden should declare for re-election now. But what if getting him on the campaign trail makes it clear how much age has taken its toll? Being seen as president rather than a candidate for 3 or 4 more months allows him to duck scrutiny. Now in his 9th decade, Mr. Biden needs that. Long-standing conventional wisdom holds that as the incumbent, Mr. Biden would be weakened if he had serious primary opposition, a la President Jimmy Carter with Senator Ted Kennedy in 1980 or President George H.W. Bush with Pat Buchanan in 1992. That's probably true. But what if Mr. Biden overcame a real challenge, not Marianne, Crystals and Woo-Woo Williamson but a formidable governor or senator? If he rose to the moment, Mr. Biden wouldn't only secure the Democratic nomination but also ease doubts about his fitness among swing voters who might leave him in the general election if there's a decent Republican candidate. Conventional wisdom points to Mr. Biden seeking re-election despite a lack of enthusiasm among Democrats. Only 25% of them in a March 20 Monmouth poll preferred he run again. But what happens if he doesn't? Democrats have a deep bench. And resetting the board on their side might cause the GOP to do the same, jolting Republicans into realizing just how weak Mr. Trump might be in the general against a fresh Democratic face. Conventional wisdom says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is faltering, hampered by frequent missteps and a wooden campaigning style. But what if Mr. DeSantis learns from his early stumbles? Other nominees have shown an ability to get better. Senator Hillary Clinton led the April 18, 2007, Fox News poll with 41% to Senator Barack Obama's 20%. But Mr. Obama got better and turned on the afterburners with a November 2007 speech at the Iowa Democratic Party's Jefferson Jackson dinner that left attendees impressed. Team Obama will tell you their candidate won the nomination because he had time to get better. What if Mr. DeSantis excels at self-improvement, too? Then he should up his game soon. Conventional wisdom is that much of the Republican presidential field are third-tier wannabes. But there are successful governors, senators, cabinet officials and business leaders among them who could do surprisingly well. Maybe we're past the point where a novice can surprise and win a party's nomination, as Wendell Willkie did in 1940 and Mr. Trump did in 2016. But then maybe not. This isn't to say, as Galbraith did, that conventional wisdom is necessarily shallow or wrong. The problem, rather, is that our politics seem to be in a period when the system is so fractured, the process so broken, public attitudes so jumbled and fragile, that the unconventional and unexpected can win out. Every election season has surprises. Our current tumultuous era could produce more shocks to conventional wisdom than normal. Odd times call for unconventional wisdom. If the obvious were always true, Hillary Clinton would have won in 2008 and 2016. In his 1958 book, The Affluent Society, economist John Kenneth Galbraith assailed what he called conventional wisdom, his caustic term for beliefs that are at any time assiduously, solemnly and mindlessly traded between the conventionally wise. Today, we're